Today we're going to talk about 3 jobs that don't exist anymore. But first, the butterfly quilt is ready for its next big step. Welcome back to Quilted Tales, where quilting, weird stories, and strange history all meet. And while I was working on this butterfly quilt, I started thinking about some of the strange jobs that people used to have. Can you imagine having a job where your entire responsibility was waking up other people? Before alarm clocks, that's exactly what some people did. They were called knocker-uppers, and they would go around tapping on windows with long sticks until people got out of bed. Honestly, I can barely get myself out of bed some mornings, much less a whole neighborhood. Well, anyway, while I was thinking about that, I still had a lot of quilt to finish. The first thing I need to get done is the backing. So I started by cutting the backing fabric and sewing it together. Then everything got a good press before I could move on to the next step. And it's not the most exciting part of quilting, but it has to get done before any of the fun stuff can happen. Once I finally got the backing finished, it was time to put together the quilt sandwich. And for anyone who doesn't quilt, it's like the backing, the batting, and the quilt top, they're layered together, and you have to have all that together before you can actually start quilting. Now this is where things can go really smooth, or it can make you question your life choices. There's a lot of smoothing out, adjusting, and trying to convince 3 layers of fabric to cooperate. And if you think that sounds frustrating, imagine having to walk around the town lighting every street lamp by hand. That was the job of the lamplighter. Most people probably never thought much about it unless they forgot to show up. Kind of like quilt prep work. Nobody notices it when it's done right, but everybody notices it when it isn't. For generations, people depended on lamplighters every single day. Then electricity showed up and that job slowly disappeared. Meanwhile, I was standing over here trying to keep these 3 layers of fabric from shifting every time I touched them. And once I finally got everything where I wanted it, it was time to start quilting. This is where the quilt starts getting its personality. The pink sections are going in one direction, the little butterfly blocks I'm going to have going in another, and then the big butterfly blocks are going to get quilted diagonally. Of course, that meant spending more time than I'd like to admit figuring out exactly what I wanted to do and how these quilt lines were going to work. Now, speaking of odd choices, the groom of the stool is our final job. Now, if you've never heard of the job before, you're probably about to have the same reaction I did. The groom of the stool helped the king with his bathroom visits. I know, I wish I was making it up too. The strangest part is that it was actually considered a very important position because it gave some private access to the king. Imagine having one of the most awkward job titles in history and still ending up as a trusted advisor. History is weird. The quilting has officially started. Thankfully, my job description is a lot better than groom of the stool. I still have plenty of quilting to go, but I'm finally starting to see the finish line. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. Next, we'll keep working on the quilting, we will do the binding, and then we'll have the final reveal of the completed quilt. Until next time, happy quilting!